Hello, my children. This is the Cult Chaser Monica's Ghost. And have you been being good? Have you been obeying and watching my videos? Have you been re-watching my videos? Have you been missing me and hoping that a new video was here? Well, here it is. So I'm welcoming those from the Mandela effect, from the convex Earth and the flat Earth, and those that were at the CDC protests a few weeks ago and were sprayed by the CDC chemtrail plane. Okay? I heard you guys did bleach enemas and stuck onions in your woo-haws. I hope you're okay. I'm concerned for you. Please let me know how that went. Did you wash all your clothes immediately? Spray yourself down with vinegar? I hope it worked out for you. This is QUAXXED episode 8, From Threats to Thugs. And we're going to be talking about some of those same amazing anti-vaxxers and their in-depth research into locating the one, the only, the highly elusive, who's never in public and nobody knows who that person is, Reasonable Hank. Right. Because I know who Reasonable Hank is. Most of my friends know who Reasonable Hank is. I don't understand how come you people can't figure out who the fuck Reasonable Hank is. So here's what's happened. Anti-Vaccination Australia has made an urgent public announcement a couple days ago. Urgent! It was urgent. It wasn't quite an emergency, but it was urgent. Just so you know, big letters, all caps. We give great pleasure in announcing that after several weeks, okay, I have tried to do this now for like 20 minutes just to get through the several weeks part. And I have to tell you every time I start laughing. Several weeks of investigations. Okay, in depth, like the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, or whatever the Australian version is of the FBI, they have gone beyond. I can't even say the word because I'm laughing. They have gone beyond what the Australian version of the FBI would do to get in-depth information on Reasonable Hank. Okay. Now, if you don't know who Reasonable Hank is an Australian blogger. Hank blogs about Western medicine, the dangers of quackery such as black salve and things like that, and the dangers of anti-vaccination. Reasonable Hank also will turn in somebody who is not upholding their health oath according to the Australian Health Act. Okay? So, Reasonable Hank is busy, and Reasonable Hank has principles, and Reasonable Hank works hard. Okay? Now, what has happened is that these dumbasses have been, what did I say, weeks of intense research. Intense, just intense, I'm telling you. Okay? Have collected information, personal information. They have doxed this man. They have doxed Reasonable Hank. They have found everything they need to know. Now, doxing is, of course, getting the documents, the personal documents of this person and exposing them so that they can shame the person or threaten the person or upset the person in some way. They have screenshots, and he's aware of the screenshots, and they, which would be we, the pro-vaccination movement, are covering our tracks. And the page, Things Anti-Vaxxers Say, has already been removed. Well, let me call bullshit immediately on all of this. Okay, so today is November 5th. Okay, and the page Things Anti-Vaxxers Say was down for maintenance. They're a huge page, lots of information coming out all day and all night, constantly. People sending in tips, things coming out. We talk on that all the time, causing all kinds of problems. Probably blow the page up every day. And their unpaid intern Steve can only work so hard. Okay, so they took the page down for a few days and were cleaning it up. And apparently, Anti-Vax Australia thought they had dropped the page somehow. They thought they had gotten it removed because they're that egotistical. Okay, so there's the first thing I call bullshit on. It's already back up, so that made me laugh. Second thing is that we have a small problem. This person that you guys have, well, doxed and you are convinced is Reasonable Hank, not even close, you dumbasses. Not even close. Okay? You're like 1,000 kilometers off, just so you know. And you've been told this. Your thousands of hours, your weeks of intense research. It's for your urgent public announcement. No. So basically, they're still rolling out this big deal that they found Reasonable Hank. Now there's been an article in the Herald Sun that the poor man whose name is Peter Turin, well, he's not Reasonable Hank. And I know he's not Reasonable Hank, and most people that I know also know he's not Reasonable Hank, but apparently Anti-Vaccination Australia will not admit that they have the wrong Reasonable Hank. Just so you know. So now they're prepared to go after Reasonable Hank, or Peter, who's not Reasonable Hank. And the problem that they're causing is that they're about to supposedly open up a defamation of character suit on this person, and they're talking about him publicly, and they're harassing him, and other people who have the documentation from this poor innocent man, or about this poor innocent man, they're threatening him, and they're causing him problems. Now, they made a video to discuss about being informed about, apparently, the skeptics and Reasonable Hank and people who lurk in their community and try to draw them out and cause them problems. And apparently we're some kind of weirdos because we don't mind vaccinating our kids. And every time they talk about the pro-vaccination movement, they discuss, like, sex stuff. See this? What is with you people? What? We're out there trying to make sure that your precious little snowflake actually gets vaccinated against preventable diseases that we could then eradicate from the face of the flat or convex earth, and you people are busy talking about masturbation. Just saying, why are you calling us the sick ones? I don't know who these people are that you're talking about, but it's not any of us, okay? Because we're not gonna act like that, because we're reasonable. Like Hank, who you haven't doxed at all. So the vultures are circling, and everybody's excited because they think they found Reasonable Hank, as I said, and I don't even know what else to say. Oh, except for that, as far as they know, once again, I could be fucking Reasonable Hank. No, I'm not Reasonable Hank. I'm just saying I could be. And just earlier this year, Anti-Vaccination Australia, among others, were convinced that Dr. Dorrit Reese was Reasonable Hank. And that 3 other people were Reasonable Hank. And some of them even thought that Dr. Dorrit Reese was a robot, and there were several of her. And anybody who came on and defended Dr. Reese was also Dorrit defending herself on another Facebook that she made up on her own. And if that isn't strange enough, a bunch of other people thought that Dorrit was actually somebody named Dee Pole. Hi, Dee, how you doing? A friend of mine, who is not Dorrit, by the way, and then said when we were defending Dee, saying she's not Dorrit, from the people who said Dorrit was Dee, they then all called us Dee too and said that we were all different personas of Dee, pretending to be friends, defending Dee. These are the people that say they know who Reasonable Hank is. Yeah, exactly. So, I first want to say that maybe you guys should get real jobs and move out of your mommy's basements. Or back rooms, depending upon where you're living. Because while this sounds a little funny and convoluted, the really hard part is that this man that's being mistaken for Reasonable Hank, his family, himself, they're being harassed, they're being threatened. They may not be able to go out in public at this time right now because of the way they're being treated by people who say that vaccinations are bad and that all they want to do is prove that vaccinations should be a choice and that we need to learn more about them. before we put them in our kids' bodies. That's what they say their agenda is. But what really is the agenda when you will go after an innocent human being and try to convince people that he says he's only says he's innocent so that you won't harass him, and that the actual reasonable Hank that you all have before tried to fuck with is out there, and you say that that's the decoy for this guy. And this is what Reasonable Hank has to say. Thanks so much for everyone for your support. Now I just want legal redress for Peter Tiernan, that's how you say it, and his family, who have been doxxed and vilified in this most repugnant terms by these delusional people. They have wrung him, they have wrung his work, they have contacted his wife, they have contacted his child, they have threatened to submit vexatious and false reports and complaints. One ugly individual is even threatening to report him to the Australian Taxation Office based on her gut feeling, which in turn are based on such bizarre conspiracy theory regarding Mr. Tiernan's employment. This is the harm done by conspiracy theorists. And this is what's important to remember. They're not harmless nutters. I lived in this world, people, and I'm telling you, no, they're not. They will dox one of their own. They will threaten them. I have seen a man almost kill himself over the treatment from other conspiracy theorists because he asked one question, because he doubted one thing. I have seen people be in this same type of situation where they have doxed people from YouTube who were completely innocent and had nothing to do with the supposed channel that they supposedly ran on YouTube. This is what this is about. Peace, love, and threats from anti-vaxxers. Mauve, Mothers Against Anti-Vaxxers, and myself, Monica's Ghost, along with Shills of Mumbai and PTL's Ghost on Facebook, urge you all to put up an I Am Reasonable Hank avatar and to hashtag everything you do that's related to exposing an anti-vaccination person or anti-vaccination movement. Put up the hashtag I Am Reasonable Hank. Not only is this supporting the actual Reasonable Hank who does such important work, but I want to let Reasonable Hank know right now, okay, that it is also to support Peter Tiernan. Okay, it is to support those at Peter Tiernan and others, those innocent people I have seen and watched and thank the gods had not participated in the conspiracy movement, the doxing of innocent people. I've seen it. It happens even more than you realize, Hank. And this is not just to support you. God, yes, we're supporting you because you do such important work. But this is to support the innocent people that they go after because they don't care. Because this isn't about choice. This isn't about their children being okay or thinking they're making a healthier world for their children. This is about delusion. This is about vile hate. This is about narcissistic behavior, some kind of strange Munchausen by proxy that needs to stop before people are killed, before people die. Children have probably already died. These people need to be held accountable. I have seen things that would turn your stomach and curl your toes, people, and these people need to be stopped. So please, I urge you, when people ask, what is the I Am Reasonable Hank hashtag? What is the I Am Reasonable Hank avatar? Direct them, please. Go to Monica's Ghost, go to PTL's Ghost, go to Peace, Love, and Anti-Vaxxers, go to Shills of Mumbai. The information is there on Facebook. Please go to those pages and find it. And tell everyone. Show them what these people, what the real movement in the anti-vaccination movement is, what their real agenda is. Their agenda is to hurt, their agenda is to destroy, and their agenda is to get things only for them, and they'll use their children, they'll use the elderly, they'll use innocent people, they'll use their innocent animals, they will use anything they can so that their egos will be inflated. Okay, so that they can be the pompous pricks that they know they should be, or that they think they know they should be. Help us. Monica's Ghost, out.